Welcome to part 2 of your in-depth walkthrough of iOS and iPadOS 26 Beta 6. In this part, we'll explore updates in CloudKit, communication safety, core data, HealthKit, and the powerful new foundation models framework. Let's start with CloudKit. A major bug that prevented sharing URLs from launching third-party apps is now resolved. However, the CK share request access operation and other request access APIs are still non-functional in this beta. Communication safety has a critical known issue. When it attempts to show an intervention during FaceTime, it can hang the app. Apple's only fix for now is to reboot the device. In contacts, non-English characters used for monogram avatars may still render incorrectly, displaying unexpected symbols. Core data has undergone several major concurrency changes for compatibility with Swift 6. NS Managed Object is now explicitly marked non-sendable and non-isolated, which may surface new build warnings or even errors. You should review your code for data races and isolate closures using non-isolated, unsafe, if needed. Deprecated persistent store options have also been completely removed. Apple recommends using NS Persistent CloudKit container or Swift data going forward. Let's dive into foundation changes. Apple updated how string interpolation works in localized strings. If you interpolate a non-localized value, you'll now get a warning. To avoid this, wrap it in string, describing. The ISO 8601 format style also now supports fractional seconds and simplified time zone offset formats. Now onto the Foundation Models framework, which powers Apple Intelligence. This update brings a major new method, pre-warn. It allows your app to preload system resources and instructions, which speeds up the first response generation dramatically, perfect for user-triggered LLM interactions. Apple also added multilingual support to the .content tagging use case, and now returns a model-generated explanation if the system refuses to respond for non-safety-related reasons. That means better transparency and UX. You can now also access the raw generated content and check if it's complete using the isComplete flag. Apple added better schema validation and finally fixed a series of rate limiting and decoding errors that had plagued earlier betas. Still, some known issues remain. Guided generation may fail when using primitive types or enums with associated values. Apple recommends wrapping those in custom structs or at generable types to avoid crashes. Let's move on to game controller improvements. Apple now supports DualSense and DualSense Edge multi-device pairing and quick switching via Bluetooth. Pressing the home button once now opens the game overlay. Game mode finally respects the LS supports game mode key in your app's info.list. In HealthKit, you can now access medication and dosage data via the HK User Annotated Medication Query API. Apple also brings workout session APIs to iOS and iPadOS, offering better health tracking in apps. Several bugs have been resolved, including disappearing workout route data, undismissible authorization screens, and temporary health data inaccessibility when reaching the power off slider. Image Playground still has a known issue. Create Image is missing from Spotlight and shortcuts. In iPad multitasking, missing UI controls are now restored. However, app switching via swipe gestures doesn't work in the new windowed app mode. That wraps up part 2. In part 3, we'll dive into journaling, keyboard fixes, SwiftUI, Metal, notifications, UI kit, and much more. Ready to continue? Let's go!